there was surrounding good nature. Just we have to visit the Mount Abu or Saputara. There was a hill station. They have the, we can say that they're surrounded by the natural beauty, kudrati saundarya, and spiritual significance of existence. અને સાથે સાથે આધ્યાત્મિક અસ્તિત્વની પણ એની વાત કરીએ. Mostly his work marked to focus toward the love with smaller grasses of life and profounder truth of religious. Mostly he can focus from in his work. Theme of his work, we can say that he can love with the smaller grasses. નાના જે સૂક્ષ્મ તણખલા ઘાસ કહેવાય એને પણ ચાહતો હતો. એન્ડ પ્રોફાઉન્ડર ઓફ રિલિજિયસ ટ્રુથ, અને આધ્યાત્મિક સત્યનો પ્રોફાઉન્ડર સ્થાપક હતો. while he seems forever occupied with the secret architecture of things, and further he was the architecture of the things, secret architecture મિત્રો એટલે કે શિલ્પ સ્થાપક. And later on we have to discuss about that Crashaw's, there was some of the critics they have to discuss, but they have to appreciate it, Crashaw's, for his literary work, and among them one or two critics I have to discuss about that. According to Hussain, Hussain, according to Hussain, Crashaw is not a mystic. MYSTIC, મિસ્ટિક એટલે યોગી કહીએ ને આપણે, એ કોઈ યોગી પુરુષ કે સંત હતો નહીં. And not by traditional definition of mysticism, અને એ કોઈ રહસ્યવાદમાં કે ધાર્મિકવાદમાં પણ પરંપરાગત માનતો હતો નહીં. But he is simply a devotee who had mystic temperament, but he was simply a devotee. And means DEVOT એટલે ભક્ત મિત્રો. DEVOTEE, he was simply a devotee who belonged to the mystic temperament. એ રહસ્યમય વાતાવરણમાં માનતો હતો. Further friends, we have to also mention very few that in the, we can say that, and that's why the language and sweetness of poetry, he is compared with the very famous poet S.T. Samuel. The beauty of language and sweetness of the beauty of language and sweetness of the theme, because he can love with the nature. The romantic poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge, S.T. Coleridge, William Wordsworth, Amy Lowell, Henry Wordsworth Longfellow, Robert Elizabethan, Bennett Browning, R.W. Emerson, and Baronson Alcott. This kind of the famous poet, between his poetry and the language of poetry and the sweetness of the theme, his poetry, these are the major work when compared with this of the S.T. Coleridge, William Wordsworth, R.W. Stevenson, okay, and other we have to Richard Fellows and other work he has compared with. Those are the other famous, Amy Law and other famous popular poet of the in English literature. And lastly, we can say about that during and after his life, friends and poet esteem Crashaw as a saint. Most of the poet and saint, they can give call him the saint. SAINT, saint એટલે સાધુ હતો સંત. During and after his life, after the death of his life, his friend and poet esteem એટલે માનવ, reputed him Crashaw as a saint. Abraham Cowley, one of the most popular, remember that those are the group of poets, metaphysical poet, and one of the poet is Abraham Cowley. Abraham Cowley said that called him such in his elegy on the death of Abraham Coley. Abraham Coley wrote the elegy on the death of Crashaw. Elegy એટલે મિત્રો, there was one literary form we also studied there. That was elegy means કરુણ પ્રશસ્તિ. ELEGY. કોઈના મૃત્યુ પર ગાવામાં આવતું હોય ને જે કરુણ ગીત એને એલિજી કહેવાય. And that was Abraham Coley write down an elegy on the, and the title of the elegy is On the Death of Crashaw. On the death of, that was title of the, that was On the Death of Crashaw. What is the title of that? On the Death of Crashaw, written by Abraham Coley. Abraham Coley wrote, जो remember जो Abraham Coley wrote an elegy on the death of Crashaw, and in this elegy he can say that, and in this elegy Crashaw said that and further he wrote and other refer the Richard Crashaw in the comparison with George Herbert. Comparison with the George Herbert, and they call Richard Crashaw the other Herbert. They give the importance to Richard Crashaw as the other. They call him the other Herbert, or the second Herbert of the late time. They also call him the second Herbert of the, they also call the word with that. Second Herbert of, and this is the, some of the other critics refer Richard Crashaw as the, we can say that the other Herbert. George, we have to write down that we can happily follow, set out to follow the steps of George Herbert. That's why George Herbert is also nominated metaphysical poet, and he was popular for his religious book The Temple. The Temple, and from the inspiration of the Temple, here Richard Crashaw write down the lives of the muse, step to the temple. These two works we can get the inspiration from the George Herbert's book, The Temple, and in this style he wrote these two books, Step to the Temple and The Lives of the Muse by Richard Crashaw. That's why most of the critics refer Richard Crashaw as the other Herbert, or the second Herbert of late times. Okay friends, now we can get the glass of all the briefly. First, Richard Crashaw, lifespan 1613 to 20, and he was born in 1630 in London and died in 21st August in 1649. The life period of only 36 years. He belonged to the 17th century, and speciality of Richard Crashaw is English poet, teacher, Anglican clergyman, Roman Catholic converter, literary movement in which he belonged to the metaphysical poets. His notable works, major works are Epigrammaticum, Sarcasm, Liber, Step to the Temple, The Light of the Muse, Carino Nestro. His life, he was the son of the William Crashaw, one of the famous clergymen of Puritanism, and there was no fixed date and the name of his mother, and there was no authentic proof of the date of his birth and the name of his mother. He was get education in church school, and later on he moved forward in the step. You can step of his father, become the clergyman, and play role of the religious field and the reform in the church. Later on, he become the Roman Catholic, and he died in the exile. And his contribution was, he was one of the dominated but important metaphysical poetry. He was very simply, he can synthesize natural beauty, surround natural beauty and spiritual ethics in his poetry, and that's why in the central theme of his poetry is the devotional. His works focus on the devotional pursuit of divine love, and he said what he was happily set out to follow the step of George Herbert. There are a number of the critics give the contribution in that, even that they tribute to the poetry of that. Even his poetry, he can stand in those are the great poets, St. Coleridge. He can stand in the queues of Emily Horror, the queues of St. Coleridge, William Wordsworth, Henry Longfellow, and we can say that there are here we have to mention Henry Wordsworth, Longfellow, Emily Vowels, Ralph W. Emerson, A. Boron Allow, Annie Bowles. These are the great poets. He can compare them. Even that poet get tribute to him. Abraham Cowley, one of the famous metaphysical poets, wrote an elegy to give the tribute to the Richard Crashaw. And the title of the elegy is On the Death of Crashaw. And other critics also refer him as you can say that refer him the other Herberts or second Herbert or late times. Okay friends, thank you.